two Super Bowl contenders.
Laguna by Renault. It's all worked out beautifully.
SO unleaded fuels now have more cleaning power, reducing some harmful emissions by up to 20%, while still allowing your car optimum performance. SO Unleaded, a new generation of performance fuels.
This Friday, get your laughing gear around 4 great comedies.
Ellen, you floss?
Yes, I do. Yes, religiously. Christmas, Easter, Rosh Hashanah.
9:30.
The ball's over, and your coach has just turned back into a pumpkin. Now give me my tuxedo.
At 10.
Oh, Dan, tonight, no foreplay.
At 10:30.
Oh, blimey, the fat bird's got a telly show.
And that's Channel 4 Program News.
Once in a while, there's a program that stands head and shoulders above the rest. A program that wins both critical and popular acclaim.
You make me sick.
A program that breaks new ground in drama and realism.
You calling us dirty, huh?
Setting new standards in its genre.
My problems are my problems.
Controversial and compulsive. Watch it and you decide. NYPD Blue, tomorrow at 10 on 4.
Los Angeles still reporting rain. Showers continue in the Bay Area.
I can't stand the rain against my window, bringing back sweet memories. Yeah, when the rain, do you remember how sweet it used to be?
Still showers throughout the entire West Coast.
Good evening. Welcome to the short-range weather forecast for the San Francisco area, otherwise known as Channel 4's coverage of the NFC Championship game. As you saw in our opening sequence, it was a quagmire here 2 years ago when Dallas beat the 49ers for the championship. And it's been a rematch, or it's going to be a rematch in almost every sense of the word this week. California's had some of its worst flooding in years over the past few days, although it'd take more than a few closed roads and collapsed bridges to stop this one. It's the game everyone's been talking about, really, since these two met in last year's championship game. The San Francisco 49ers against the Dallas Cowboys for the right to go to the Super Bowl. And with me is a man who's been to 3 Super Bowls and won them all, former 49er running back Roger Craig. Roger, thanks for coming and camping out with us here in the mud at Candlestick. Well, I don't know about, you might not be saying that by the end of the game if the rains start again. It really is a huge game, and you get the feeling that these two teams would just have soon have skipped the regular season and got right down to it.
Yeah, you know, this is what it's all about, though. You know, you play hard all year long. Your goal is to get to this point as a team, and you accomplish it. Now it's time to put all those things aside and let it happen. And I think both teams are fired up, and I know Emmitt Smith is really eager to play and showing everybody his hamstring's okay, and I know Steve Young is ready to get the burden off his back of taking this team to the Super Bowl. So it's going to be a really exciting game. I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
Lots of storylines, and we'll try to cover all the angles between now and 9 o'clock when the game kicks off. But already kicked off, although not yet over, is the other big game of the day, the AFC Championship game. And for the first time in the 90s, it doesn't involve the Buffalo Bills. We're going to see who's going to be there instead of them, the San Diego Chargers or the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's go over now to Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh getting its share of rain too at the start of the game. We join it on the Steelers' first drive. They're at their own 49-yard line, and your commentators are Dick Enberg and Bob Trumpy.
Rookie Byron Bam Morris from Texas Tech, replaces Barry Foster. He had 836 yards this year. O'Donnell down the middle. Incomplete. Unless it's ruled a fumble. Now they're saying incomplete to Ernie Mills, who was racked by Darren Carrington.
Well, Pittsburgh showing no problems with the weather here. I mean, there have been a lot of people in Pittsburgh who have said that Neil O'Donnell can't throw the football. He can't do this. 1, 2. Oh, look like that. I'm not sure. It's got to have that second foot down again. Gordon behind him. The hit by Carrington. No, I don't think he had a second foot down. But they're showing no problems with this weather. Hey, we'll throw it. We've got no problems. We've practiced in worse weather than this.
Second down, 10. Barry Foster, and he's met sharply by the San Diego Chargers' Seau with help from the secondary.
The beauty of Junior Seau, the ability to roam. There he's got a good pursuit lane. He jumps over a blocker and is there. It was Strelzig 73 that he had to jump over. That's that athleticism of a middle linebacker. They didn't used to have athletes like that playing middle linebacker.
So it is third down and long for O'Donnell. And he comes in with 3 wide receivers. Into the flat. Great throw. Ernie Mills appears to have a first down at the 40-yard line. Boy, that's a tough completion. Perfect throw by O'Donnell.
And Dick, if Willie Clark, number 31 for San Diego, looks back at the quarterback, he makes the interception. He's covering the man in motion. Watch how close Clark is. If he sees that ball thrown, he's got a break on it. But that is a beautiful throw by O'Donnell.
Needed 7, got 8.
Well, this is the way they started last week against Cleveland. Just pretty much doing anything and everything they wanted.
Big pen to the right with Mills in the slot. And they run Foster, and it was Seau who was able to infiltrate, and a flag goes down. Seau breaking through the blocks and making the tackle in the backfield. First call of the day. Holding against the Steelers. Bobby Ross, 57 in his third year. He was a rookie coach the same year as Cowher.
Holding number 85 of the offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
Tight end Jonathan Hayes, a former Kansas City Chief, with the penalty.
Here is Jonathan Hayes right here on the block. He's trying to capture the corner. Yeah, he definitely gets a mittful of Chris Mims. There is no question about that.
Now the penalty takes it back to the 50. Cowher trying to become the youngest ever coach in the Super Bowl. He's 37. Shula was 39 when he went to Super Bowl III with Baltimore. Down the middle and too high for Stancy Pigpen. Darian Gordon was on the coverage.
One of the things you certainly want to have is good protection for your quarterback. Here's Leslie O'Neal. Good double team by Jackson, 65. Duval Love, 67. Allows O'Donnell a chance to sit back there and look for the deep receiver.
Second down and 20. O'Neal, who had 12.5 sacks, among the leaders in the NFL this year, only 1.5 behind Kevin Green, Pittsburgh, who led the league.
Screen.
to Foster, and well read by Junior Seau. Seau right there to make the tackle for no gain, and that's why he's regarded as perhaps the best middle backer in the game.
Dick, when he came into our meeting yesterday, he already had his game face on. Drops, gets around the block by Strelsick, and then makes the tackle. This guy is redefining what middle linebackers should and will do in the next 10 years in the NFL.
And it's stunning when you look at his size. 250 pounds, runs like a deer.
Still hobbled by that bad left shoulder, but playing through the discomfort.
3rd and 20. To the sidelines. And a good game, not enough for the first down to Andre Hastings, who caught 20 during the course of the year. A gain of around 18. So on 4th down and 2, what's Cowher's call?
Bill's already made the decision. He has great faith in his offense, and they're already motioning for certain personnel on the field.
Fans like the fact they go for it, 4th and 2. They bring in Hastings. John L. Williams stays, and Williams, remember, the fullback, had 51 catches to lead this club during the year. John L. Williams stands next to O'Donnell. Wide open, Andre Hastings, first down at the 20. Sean Van Horst, an extra defensive back for San Diego, but no one picked up Hastings.
Van Horst was on single coverage. You just see the little option route run by Hastings. There's no way Van Horst, without help outside, can cover that pattern, Dick.
11 yards and a first down.
I mean, Rossi, there are some weaknesses. There is a weakness in every defense. And when you've got single coverage and time for the quarterback to throw and the option available to the quarterback, the defensive back can't be right.
2 consecutive passes to Hastings, 18 yards and 11. And here's Foster and drawing a crowd again. And it appears, Bob Trumpy, that San Diego is really committing itself up to 8 men on the line of scrimmage to stop the run.
Yeah, the other thing, Darren Carrington, 29, is the 8th guy. The other thing they're doing is they're also playing the defensive end. Here's Carrington, the 8th guy. But they've got their splits a little wider, so it's a little more difficult for the offensive linemen to get the angle blocks that they normally do. Leslie O'Neal blows that play up first. Seau helps on the tackle.
A loss of nearly 2. O'Donnell into the flat to Foster. Runs right by one Charger. Dennis Gibson makes the tackle after Junior Seau unable to get him 5 yards upfield.
Good choice here by Neil O'Donnell. He's looking downfield. He's got the outlet of Foster in the flat. He's not there. I'm not going to take a chance. You went to break, but this is a nice little move. It's not that easy to get around Junior Seau. He just froze him right in his tracks. Here's Junior. Oh, whoops.
O'Donnell on this drive, 6 for 8, 49 yards. 3rd down and about 5.
Blitz.
John L. Williams, touchdown. A flag is down in the secondary.
Holding number 21.
So the best rushing team in the NFL uses the pass to drive 67 yards in 13 opening plays, using half the quarter, and leads 6-0.
Dick, another look at the touchdown here. Great protection for O'Donnell. The 4th down conversion worked. The 3rd and 20, they almost picked the whole thing up. And O'Donnell says, yeah, that opening score.
Gary Anderson's try for point, and the Steelers are waving the terrible towels to the tune of an early 7-0 lead.
So Pittsburgh on the scoreboard first. We move to the Chargers' second possession now, starting out from their own 13-yard line.
And now they run. Natron Means for 2. Greg Lloyd made the tackle. 2nd and 8. Wrapped up by Chad Brown, the second-year middle linebacker. Intercepted. Papunu was the target, and Chad Brown almost got the ball. They brought Myron Bell from a safety on the blitz.
And there it was. Watch all the guys at the line of scrimmage now. Now, who out of that bunch is going to pressure the quarterback? That's what Stan Humphries has to worry about. Myron Bell is the one. He gets around the block by Means. Greg Lloyd, 95 also. Well, there's 4 of them here. Pick one. But that threat of the blitz.
Movement before the snap on the punt may cost the Chargers. And so
before the snap, false start. Number 54. 5 yards. It's still 4th down.
That's Doug Miller, a linebacker on the special teams. Very high, and Woodson returnable at the football. And it rolls out of bounds, I believe. The Chargers say they have it. Did it go out of bounds first? No signal yet.
Wait a minute, that's a muff. I don't think anybody maintained control of that. It looked like the man that touched it, Dick, was already out of bounds. Nobody had control of that.
Well, but if the didn't matter if the Chargers fall on it, it's their ball.
But if he was out of bounds when he fell on it, it's not their ball. That's my point.
The same as a fumble.
Yeah, it looked to me like he was out of bounds.
The ball was touched by a player who was out of bounds. That makes the ball out of bounds. First down, Pittsburgh.
The Steelers get a break there as Woodson unable to capture the punt.
Clear muff. Goes right through his hands. Now, who is it that makes the contact? Looks like Gibson, 89. Well, there's several players out of bounds touching the ball. At that point, I mean, it
doesn't matter what color the uniform is.
Doesn't matter.
So Pittsburgh retained possession there, but they've turned it over 2 plays later. When Barry Foster fumbled and Darren Carrington recovered for San Diego. The Chargers couldn't do anything with the turnover, though, and that was it for the first quarter. We go to the second now, and after a Pittsburgh punt, San Diego back in possession at their own 20.
And Big Natron has 17. Lake and Perry make the tackle.
The Chargers like to feature the counter play. You're going to see running in front of Means. It's a Davis 73, Swain 72. Good kick out, good blocking down, and Means again with those shoulders straight at the field. Look, Dick, this offense now pressure on them. They got to give this defense a rest. Take some control and steam away from Pittsburgh's offense here.
Means again. And Natron up to midfield, and a first down at the Pittsburgh 48. 14 on that play.
He's motioning now to Eric Bieniemy. Give me a break here, pal. So Eric Bieniemy goes on the field. A nice little swing pass here. Secret of this, they beat the blitz. Green on the outside, Lloyd on the other side. Humphries beats the blitz, and he hits Means in full stride for a nice pickup.
Means caught 39 during the regular season. He rests at 245 pounds, and Eric Bieniemy from Colorado, the running back. Fake to Bieniemy. Humphries going long for Jefferson. Oh, he is an interference against Pittsburgh. He was caught and pulled from behind, and that's going to give the Chargers a first down inside the 5. Dion Figures was beaten by a half step, and that'll cost Pittsburgh. Here's
I didn't
21.
I didn't think Jefferson was going to catch up to this ball. Humphries absolutely heaved it. Yeah, right arm, no question. Excellent call.
And he was going to
catch it. So it's a good penalty, even though it takes it to the goal line. But I didn't think Jefferson was going to catch up to that. When Humphries let it go, it looked like it was going out of the end zone.
46-yard penalty tagged on Figures. And here's Natron back in the backfield for San Diego. They had trouble scoring when inside the 20 against Miami a week ago. Remember, they stopped on downs at the 1. Means back.
Dick, Bobby Ross told us, you know, we kind of outguessed ourselves last week. We thought we were going to see man-to-man and saw zone. He said, we're not doing that anymore. We got a powerful football team. We're going to try to hammer it in the end zone. And they've got Means in here on the goal line along with Rockethead, Steve Hendrickson, and 3 tight ends. There's Rockethead.
No gain on first down. And they topple Means for no gain on second down. Levon Kirkland, 99. Third-year backer from Clemson.
First half is decided on this series of plays. Kirkland makes the hit, but Dick, for San Diego to get back in this football game, they got to try for it on 4 downs and reestablish some control of the game. Same is true for Pittsburgh. If they stop them, they have completely dominated in this first half. A lot at stake on these next 2 downs.
Convinced. He said, we better go for 3.
That's a statement by Pittsburgh. Ooh, don't run the ball in here. I mean, they didn't gain a yard.
Kearney, what amounts to an extra point for 3, a 20-yarder. Whoa, he just did sidewind that one through, and San Diego gets 3. Rod Woodson was the man firing in to block.
Yeah, Dick, San Diego gets stopped here. This is the 3rd down play. They do get points. They do get points, but Pittsburgh wins that series.
And with 3:41 left in the half, it's 7-3.
In their next possession, the Steelers drove deep into Chargers territory. The San Diego defense held, forcing Pittsburgh to settle for a 39-yard Gary Anderson field goal. That was just before halftime to give the Steelers a 10-3 lead at the break. So the Steelers up by 7 at halftime, but that's nothing by San Diego's standards. They came back from 15 points behind to beat the Dolphins last week. Second half from Pittsburgh coming up after this break.
So there you are then. New engines, new interiors, restyle, front and rear, the new face of the Vauxhall Astra.
Yes, but our customers deserve more. Any thoughts?
How about power steering as standard there throughout the range?
Think of the cost. Only a buffoon would consider it.
Well, your power steering was inspirational.
Thank you very much. You haven't seen anything of GD, have you?
Yes, I thought a spell in the vehicle exterior luster department might do him good.
There is one man-made achievement, big enough to be visible from space. Something which illustrates what for hundreds of thousands of years has been the most basic instinct known to man. To protect. Norwich Union. No one protects more.
So I'm in the car behind. So I can't go anywhere either. And the car park attendant is really offensive. He's no good to anyone. Anyway, the passenger, she's a member of the AA and she gets out and rings them, even though she's not driving. I didn't know you could do that.
Turkey is a land unique. A paradise of landscapes, unparalleled in beauty. To visit Turkey is to experience many worlds. 5,000 miles of unspoiled coastline. Lush forests and meadows laced with hot springs, waterfalls, and colorful flowers. The tulip originated here. The cultural delights of cities such as Istanbul, built on 2 continents, merging East and West, history and modernity. Above all, Turkey is a vast open-air museum to the treasures of 9,000 years of civilizations. Modern Turkey complements old with accommodation of the highest standards. Turkey is paradise preserved.
All too often, women's magazines have this sort of big sister approach. The Marie Claire reader is very bright, she's very intelligent. She doesn't need me to tell her what to do. Our readers have their own style, and that's the only style to be had. American Express allows you to be spontaneous. If you see a bargain, you want to buy it immediately. And for that, I use the American Express card.
With American Express, you can take out Marie Claire for a year, or take yourself out shopping.
What's the difference between the cooperative bank and the other major banks? Is it that we have 24-hour telephone banking? Is it that we have a network of high street branches? Is it that we have the use of over 6,000 link cash machines? Or is it that we promise never to invest our customers' money in companies that needlessly pollute the environment?
Welcome back to Candlestick Park. In just over half an hour's time, we'll have the NFC Championship game between the 49ers and the Cowboys live for you. But still going on over in Pittsburgh is the AFC Championship game. Let's go back to Three Rivers Stadium now. The San Diego Chargers trailed 10-3 at the break, but they are in possession as we start the third quarter at their own 40-yard line.
Humphries goes long down the sidelines. And broken up by Deion Figures, although it appeared Tony Martin had a shot.
You know, the one thing that Deion Figures does is watch him pin Martin up against the sideline, so he's got no room to adjust to the pass. And see, he just kind of veers into him, and then hand here, hand there. You know, that's slow dancing. That's what it is. He's just slow dancing.
Humphries hit him right between the 8 and the 1. Boy, those towels make a lot of noise. You see how athletic Means is at 245 to kick out of that first tackle.
Dick, I saw some of those kids on the sideline with those terrible towels. Growing up, they saw those things, and they're kind of stuffed back in the attic there for a few years here in Pittsburgh. They're probably, what are those? What exactly? Well, now they're all over Pittsburgh.
11,000 tickets go to the winning team. You can imagine how prized they'll be here and in San Diego. 3rd and 7. They pick up the blitz. And Ron Woodson makes the interception. The All-Pro Woodson in front of Mark Say.
When Humphries is flushed from the pocket, Woodson just drops back right in front of Say and makes the interception. Good pressure by Kevin Henry of Pittsburgh.
Well, the Steelers couldn't capitalize and had to settle for another field goal. This one, a 23-yarder by Gary Anderson, giving them a 10-point lead as Neil O'Donnell limped to the sideline. We join the action now on the Chargers' next possession.
10:24 remaining in the third period. Means for only a yard or two, and it's going to be impossible for Humphries' teammates to hear his signal call.
Very difficult, and they use a lot of motion. Here's what Natron Means has done today. We show you what he did last week. Left 2 for 17, minus yardage there in the middle. And 2 for 17 right. So let's again try to get him out on the corner. Forget the inside stuff.
37 yards total. That's 102 less than he got against Miami last week. Incomplete to Mark Say. Dion Figures on the coverage, and it appeared that Lloyd had jumped the gun from the right end position as he was going to put the pressure on Humphreys. Number 8, Dale Williams, with the call.
Prior to the snap, number 95, unabated to the quarterback. 5 yards. It's still second down.
In other words, he could have gotten himself back onside had he elected to do so. Hannah?
Neil O'Donnell, it does appear, Dick, as if he may have aggravated that sprained ankle that you talked about. He's been walking it off on the sidelines. He's ready to go back in the game. Mike Tomczak is not warming up, Dick.
All right, thanks, Hannah. Second down and 4 after the penalty. Means, he has to take a wicked hit from Rod Woodson to bring him down, and Natron Means is the only Charger with positive yardage today, receiving or rushing.
You want to see the difference between Deion Sanders and Rod Woodson? Deion is a great coverage guy, but doesn't like to get dirty or make hits. Woodson will. In a moment's notice, no question about it, Woodson will support.
He did get help from Levon Kirkland, the linebacker, but Woodson at 200 pounds. That's why he made the all-75th anniversary team. He's the complete package. First down.
Oh, no.
Right off Shannon Mitchell's shoulder. Mitchell, that proverbial problem of running before you have the ball.
It kind of looked like he was wearing a bulletproof vest there. That baby just ricocheted off his hands. The Chargers have tried to hit every page in their playbook here to throw the ball down the field. Mary Lee Johnson on the sideline. Give me a chance to catch it, please.
Or the Cleveland Browns can identify with this, can't they?
Yeah, maybe it's Three Rivers Stadium.
Maybe it's that Pittsburgh defense that has everyone jittery. There's a catch, and this time Sean Jefferson appears to be close to a first down. May have it at the 43 of Pittsburgh. Woodson makes the tackle. 11 yards on the play. And a good block by Natron to help Humphreys.
Kept him clean. Always a little bigger star on your helmet when you catch a pass in front of Rod Woodson. But here's watch Means on the left. Comes back in and gets Chad Brown 94. Excellent job by Natron Means.
Boy, Brown must have thought he had a clear shot at Humphreys. Fake to Means. Right open. Papuno. No one picked him up. The H-back Papuno is in the end zone. Touchdown.
No flags. No flags.
Suddenly, as quiet as it has been since 8 this morning at Three Rivers Stadium. Papuno, primarily a blocker and H-back. He's the man in motion often. No one picked him up. 43-yard touchdown, and San Diego, with 8 minutes left in the third quarter, very much in it.
Dropped coverage. They ran play action right at Papuno, and everybody expected the run. He released free, and Humphreys makes the completion. Those are the hardest ones to catch, Dick. They are difficult.
Kearney out of Gail Gilbert's hold. 13-10.
Dick, as this play begins, it's play action right to Papuno. You see 37 Carnell Lake bites, 21 Dion Figures bites. He is wide open, lumbers into the end zone. Yeah.
Welcome back to Pittsburgh. Bill Cowher Steelers have won 8 in a row at Three Rivers Stadium, and they're holding on to a 3-point lead in this one. As we pick it up in the fourth quarter, though, it's the Chargers in possession at their own 44-yard line.
Papuno again. And the big H-back is into Pittsburgh territory at the 49. Woodson, the tackler.
Yeah. He said something to Woodson, said, "Man, bring it on out here. It's all right, bring it on out here. We haven't got no problem." Again, the roll. San Diego's now found something they can do here in the second half. Get it to the H-back. Half roll, little waggle.
Second and a long two. Means. And it's Kirkland again with a tackle. so it's 3rd and 1. The towels are out. 3rd and 1. Means. Oh, one tackle away from a long gallop, and saving a touchdown was Darren Perry. The risk of that 9-10 man front in short yardage, you break through and look out.
And you see Carnell Lake dives inside, but Puno gets him. Excellent move by Means. I mean, he was caught dead to rights there. That little shake got him to the line of scrimmage and through the line of scrimmage for the pickup.
Bobby Ross learned his football at VMI. And Means can't outrun Kirkland. Well, you've got the 2 Pro Bowlers in Lloyd and Green outside, but Kirkland and Brown inside, the 2 young linebackers. Boy, they're good. Well, let's compare this steel curtain defense with Green and Greenwood and White and the great steel curtain Ham Lambert. 13.5 points a game, under 4 sacks a game. And the 94-95 edition, very comparable.
Yeah, very comparable. The thing I remember about, wait a minute, I'll tell you in a second. Dom Capers, defensive coordinator of this bunch.
On his way to Carolina. 2nd and 14. To the outside is Sean Jefferson. Gained only the yards they lost on 1st down as Woodson right there. That's the kind of pass play that sets up
something else. Yes, you're right. You know, you were talking about the old steel curtain, and I had the misfortune to play against that great defense. And the same 11 guys were on the field every single snap. And they got all their pressure from 4 guys.
That's what you saw most of. You thought Three Rivers was blue.
All the way. I was always on my back. I remember nothing but sky and stitches in this stadium.
Oops. That'll be 5 yards against Harry Swain. Swain backing off. And the noise level here, I just like to have the lozenges here. There's the view of Pittsburgh that Bob Trumpy remembers most.
I didn't even know it had stripes on it. Line, goalposts. I was always on my back looking up there. It's a pretty blue stadium.
5.5 minutes remain. That penalty makes it a tough 3rd and 14 for San Diego, trying to get in field goal range for a tie. Humphreys goes long. Has a man, Martin. Touchdown! Oh, my! No flag on the field, although, let's see, maybe there is.
Roughing the passer.
It's against Pittsburgh.
Touchdown's good. The penalty will be administered on the kickoff.
Throw by Stan Humphreys. And Tony Martin, like Sean Jefferson, you never see when they're putting on the speed. They seem to run with that same loping grace. And Humphreys right in the basket for the touchdown. 43-yard touchdown, and that's the magic number for San Diego. Both.
So San Diego not only taking the lead, but extending it on that bomb from Stan Humphreys to Tony Martin. He hit Alfred Papuno earlier, hit Tony Martin. Here's the extra point now, and San Diego establishing a shot lead over the Pittsburgh Steelers. The crowd quiet at Three River Stadium. They're usually making all sorts of noise, deafening the opponents. They're not deafening anybody now. And Roger, this has really stunned the Steelers. Nobody would have expected this. Talk us through the replay.
Well, it looks like the wide receiver got past the safety, and Stan Humphrey did a great job of just throwing the ball deep, and he went up and caught it.
And that's something that the Chargers have been doing early in the season, getting the big plays, and they got away from it a little bit when they started to stumble, but they're back to it now, and they're in the lead.
I think they're playing with a lot of confidence now, and they proved to everyone that, hey, we can play against this tough defense and do a good job.
And Pittsburgh challenged people to throw on them. They send people in blitzes. The Chargers took that challenge and beat them there. Tim McKay, your old San Francisco 49er teammate, being beaten on the throw. Here's Pittsburgh's next drive.
From behind late. They find the biggest target in the lot. Eric Green, and a first down at the 34 as Darian Gordon makes the stop.
As we mentioned earlier, Ron Earhart does not want Neil O'Donnell to be the entire offense. He wants him to complement him. This is a good zone by San Diego that's beaten well by a corner pattern by Eric Green, and he is a big target.
Said he'd love to play in an offense like New England's. He wants more catches. He's big, but he'd rather be a receiver than a blocker. Over the middle to John L. Williams, short yardage to the 41. Junior Seau making another tackle. A good catch. He was juggling, but able to hold on.
Pittsburgh has done a lot of things here in this game with the underneath stuff, the backs, the crossing patterns. And if San Diego gets in that prevent zone mode, I don't like that. I mean, they got to keep coverage tight here because they're excellent underneath receivers here for the Steelers.
Thoughts become deeper as the minutes and seconds tick away in the fourth. And another catch by Ernie Mills. Darian Gordon.
Just a square in route. O'Donnell throws this beautifully. The kid, he's the youngest of 9 kids in his family. O'Donnell's family nickname, Soup, as in Super Babe. He has played super throughout the latter stages of this season and certainly today. Ernie Mills got a mouthful of water there from the...
O'Donnell, biggest passing day of his career, but he needs a big one. To the sidelines to Williams. Junior Seau racking up another stop, helped by Gordon. 5 catches for Williams today, and Seau take a check on his defensive statistics.
They kind of guess at that, you know, until they watch the game films, but it's considerable tackles for Junior Seau.
Pittsburgh has all its timeouts left. San Diego with 2. Seau has been credited with 10 tackles. Second down and 6. Screen it to Williams. And he fumbles the ball out of bounds. It'll be marked for Pittsburgh at the 38. That'll be a couple yards shy of a first down, 3rd and 2.
They had the combination tight end Eric Green and John L. Williams, the fullback, out in the flat, and O'Donnell again makes the right choice. Gibson kind of strips the ball away. There's Green. He was the other receiver.
Bill Arnsparger, the veteran defensive genius who worked in that perfect season in Miami for Shula, coach with Shula, 12 years against Ron Earhart. 2 men, their mid-60s. It's their chess game now. Green, first down at the 30, and the clock ticks at 2:15.
Dick, if you're Bill Arnsparger now, go ahead. Tell you in a minute.
Timeout, Pittsburgh. Season has been reduced to 2 minutes and 14 seconds, and the upstart Chargers lead by 4. Neil O'Donnell, meanwhile, an unlikely quarterback to set AFC championship records. More completions, 30, more passes, 50 than anyone who's ever played this game. Joe Namath had thrown 49 back before Super Bowl III. First down. He's 6 for 6 on this drive. He's going for it here. Green will be first and goal at the 9. 7 straight passes completed by O'Donnell on this drive. And there's the 2-minute timeout.
Out and up. Again, Gibson drops coverage. That's not on Stanley Richard or the defensive backs. The linebacker has got to help with underneath coverage. Great call by Earhart.
San Diego was 3rd in the league in sacks this year with 43. Yet O'Donnell has thrown the ball 51 times today. No sacks. That's a great job by those men in front of him. Foster, and it didn't fool Leslie O'Neal. He slowed him up, and John Farella made the stop. And the clock runs 1:50. So part of that strategy is to take a little time off the clock just in case you Steelers score. You don't want San Diego to have too much time to rally. 2 timeouts left for each side.
And maybe San Diego ought to start trying to come up with some time here. You know, stopping the clock. Give him a few snaps.
Williams in motion. And almost intercepted as diving in front was Dennis Gibson. Eric Green, the tight end, the target. That was close.
Yes, very close. Well, you're going to see the whole thing. Green bounces off Gibson 57. And Gibson does a great job of staying right there, absorbing the hit, staying with the receiver, and then getting his hands up.
It's the old basketball play into the post.
Pick and roll. Now, Arnsparger, you can tell how many years he's been on the sideline. Hendrickson, a little more emotional.
3rd and goal.
Darnell.
And Seau gets plenty of company. Davis, along with Griggs and others, to stop, and it's 4th and goal, and timeout number 2 taken by Bill Cowher. 4th down and goal at the 3-yard line. 3 precious yards of turf from a possible Super Bowl visit.
Dick, I don't know what the outcome of the rest of this game is going to be, but I want more. Let's let them rest for 15 minutes regardless of the final score. Play one more quarter.
You're not satisfied.
No.
Well, it's been typical of the AFC drive throughout the year. We've seen this week in, week out. Look at Cowher trying to relax his team, a big smile. And the Chargers trying to feel some frustrated unity on the sidelines. Nothing you can do but to offer your deepest hopes and prayers. Look at Cowher saying O'Donnell, hey, isn't this fun?
Isn't this fun? Yeah. Don't you love this?
And Neil O'Donnell said his mother turned 71 yesterday. This would be her birthday present. And he said the trip to the Super Bowl would be my dad's because he would have the best seat in the house.
There's Stan Humphries standing next to Sid Brooks. That's his lucky spot. Let's see if it works.
This is it. Incomplete, and it was Dennis Gibson on the coverage. And the San Diego Chargers flood the field with 1 minute and 4 seconds left. It's not over. 1:04 left, and the ball is at the 3-yard line. But San Diego has the luxury of even giving up a safety in this situation.
The ball is intended for Barry Foster. And Gibson does a great job. He reads it all the way, knocks the ball away. Beautifully done by Gibson. You can see the sideline of the San Diego Chargers explode. Even Barry Foster is falling down, sliding.
And Dennis Gibson, one of those complimentary players who does his job. Now, he was burned for the opening touchdown, but comes back to make the big save. Pittsburgh has only 1 timeout left, and that will be it for them. So with 1 minute and a second left, the Chargers need only a couple of kneel downs, and it'll be a long flight to Miami.
As I said before, Stan Humphries has a lucky spot. That's Sid Brooks, the equipment man of the San Diego Chargers. Whenever they need luck, Humphries runs to Sid Brooks. Well, it was a lucky spot this afternoon.
And Neil O'Donnell had taken his team 80 yards, and a terrible towel that had been captured apparently by Chris Mims. And even Bill Arnsparger able to celebrate. Well, of all the unlikely stories of this football season, we are witnessing one with a star above it. The San Diego Chargers. So few thought they even had a chance in their own division, much less be the representative of the AFC in the Super Bowl. And Bill Cowher's team heavily favored today. Humphries staying in the field of play, and Pittsburgh now can only watch the seconds tick away until Bobby Ross's team snaps it again.
I don't know how much credit or where you spread the credit around in this franchise to Bobby Beathard, to Bobby Ross, to Mr. Spanos. I mean, what they lost in the offseason, what they had to rebuild was absolutely remarkable. And Bobby Ross has stayed with these players.
Gary Plummer went to San Francisco. That's why Dennis Gibson is here, and Gibson makes the play. Although the wide receivers generally around the league, they say that not one of these wide receivers could start on another NFL team. And some of the emotions coming out now as Humphries kneels for what should be the final seconds of this game. Bill Cowher and Bobby Ross. Stan Humphries waited 4 years in Washington, stood on the sidelines and watched the Redskins win a Super Bowl, and now he'll get his own chance.
Yeah, remember what he told us about that Super Bowl, too. When he was at Washington, he was Jim Kelly.
Well, the Chargers have been the fairy tale team all season, picked by most people to finish bottom of their division, let alone get this far. And certainly most experts thought that the fairy tale would end today. But Roger, I suppose it's got one more chapter, and that's going to be in Miami at Joe Robbie Stadium. Are you as shocked as everyone else?
I was really shocked because I thought Pittsburgh had the defense to stop their offense, but San Diego just kept coming play after play, making the big plays, and broke the Steelers' defense down, and they're in the Super Bowl, and I'm happy for them.
The Steelers challenge you to throw, don't they? They blitz and they make you try and beat their defensive backs one-on-one.
I think that's what hurt Pittsburgh today. I mean, they blitzed so much that they're out of position, and they came up with the big plays, you know, as far as Stan Humphries hitting his wide receivers. You know, they're really fired up about this game for some reason. They didn't get awed about what Pittsburgh did throughout the year. Everyone had counted them to be in the Super Bowl, and they're the only team that knew that, hey, that we can beat these guys, and it showed up.
Now, looking ahead to a couple of weeks' time, do you think they'll just be happy to be there because no one expected them to be there? How will they be as a young team in their first Super Bowl, do you think?
Well, the one thing they have to do as a team is not get distracted by the media, by all the endorsements might be coming their way. They can't be awed about being there. They should just go down there and knowing they have to play one more game and treat it as any other game. That's how we did when we played, you know, in games like that. And a lot of times teams just happy to be there. But you have to have a purpose, and you have to have a vision of why you're there and what's your purpose of being there. And hopefully they can turn that around. I think their coach do a great job of keeping the guys well-rounded as far as their attitude.
All right, well, a big shock in the first half of our double bill. And I hope you enjoyed the appetizer because we've got the main course coming up now. Or as Deion Sanders, never a man to keep his opinions to himself, put it this week.
I think this game Sunday is the Super Bowl. I think it is the Super Bowl. I really do. This is why I came. For games like this. This is the reason.